Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can see and hear me, and joined today with Sam from Draycir. So we might have a couple more people joining us over the next minute or two, but we'll make a start. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Richard Bates. I'm Sales Director for EBS. Just to let you know as well, we're going to record the session, so it will be made available afterwards. So if you want to share it internally, we'll pop it on our YouTube channel and we'll get that sent out to you. As I mentioned, we are joined by Sam, our account manager at Draycir, and Sam is going to talk to you today about the Draycir Self Serve and Proof of Delivery module. So without further ado, I'll pass over to yourself, Sam.
Thank you very much, Rich. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully going to show you some software that you'll find quite interesting, and that will hopefully help you with your Sage 200 product at this moment in time. So like Rich said, we're looking at self-service and proof of delivery, which effectively can be one module or it can be split into two modules. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to share my screen in a moment. I'm just going to fire through a very quick presentation, very quick PowerPoint. We don't want to live in there too long. Then we're going to get into the actual product. We'll look at self-serve, and then we'll look at the proof of delivery module. And then once we've done all that, we'll open it up for some questions at the end. And I'm sure Rich or Darren will field those to me at the end of the session. And if you do want to look at this product in more detail in a one-to-one scenario later on, then more than happy to do that. You just got to get in touch with the guys at EBS after the demo. Okay. So without further ado, if Rich, you could just tell me that you can see my screen, and then hopefully everyone should be roughly the same.
Yeah, brilliant. I can see that.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm not sure who we've got on the demo in terms of what products you currently have other than Sage 200. So I'm just going to very quick overview of who we are, Draycir, and what the product is, and then we'll dive straight in. Okay. So I'm Sam Steer, partner manager for EBS at this moment on behalf of Draycir. Who are we? We are a software company based in Leicester who have been around the Sage channel for roughly 19 years now, coming up to 20, and won loads of awards. We have customers all over the world, and we're used by thousands of organizations. And this bottom stat is huge. You know, we have over 135 users, 1,000 users worldwide using the Draycir software at this moment in time. Okay, but what we're here for today is the POD and the self-serve. So it's all part of this document management suite. So some of you may have this software, some of you may have never seen it before. So the document management suite is an overarching suite, and it's combined of these four things at the minute. And basically what most people tend to have is this document distribution. So this is for sending out of documents out of Sage 200. And this capturing element is for the archiving and capturing back in documents back into Sage 200. So you can view those documents within Sage 200 itself. And we also have a recognition module that sits within the document management. So that's for recognizing automatically purchase invoices. But the reason we're here today is to look for self-serve. So what is self-serve? Self-serve is effectively an online portal that has a direct link to your Sage 200. So you can have as many internal and external users looking at this at any one time. They can look at documents per company, order history per company. You can look at stock levels. You can integrate it with the proof of delivery module, so you can bring your proof of delivery notes back into Sage 200 via the online portal. You know, it's great if you have B2B customers who maybe don't want to go through your normal website. They may have special rates that you can't always manipulate your website to show. So they can come into here, they can create orders for you. You can also use this for traveling salespeople as well. So they can pull up a customer account, see what activity that customer's been going on with, and then you know, create orders on the road from the self-service module that will feed automatically back into Sage 200. Okay. So yeah, 24/7 portal, everyone can use it. You've got unlimited users both sides, and we capture all the documents from Sage 200 back into there. So if you're using our Spindle software to send invoices out, the Spindle software will automatically archive those invoices, and it will capture them then in self-serve, so you can go and look at them, or your customer can look at those invoices later on down the line. So yeah, you can see here we've got a bit more about the POD. We'll cover that in 2 secs. So if we move on to the second half, which is proof of delivery module, so this is what it looks like, and you'll hopefully see that in 2 seconds. We have it in 2 halves. So you have a back office view where you plan your routes for the week or for the day, and you monitor the performance of your drivers, manage the proof of deliveries, the non-deliveries, all that sort of business. And then you've got an app that works on all Android phones, and it can work offline, and that is for the driver to use, or you can set it up per driver or per van. And hopefully technology, if we pray to the technology gods, hopefully we can show you that on the app via this webinar today as well. So yeah, it's also got Google Map integration. Right, so yeah, there's the app on the phone. Perfect. So I think I could go on. I've got more slides, but I don't think it's necessary. I think what we can do now is we can jump straight into the self-serve product and start having a look around. So here is my self-serve home screen. So a few things to notice straight off the bat is I am in one of my customer accounts. So this is Abbey Retail, who, if you've ever sat on a Sage 200 demo, you've most likely heard this name at some point. So this is Abbey Retail's dashboard. Now this can be accessed by, like I mentioned before, by either a internal user, or it can be set up for Abbey Retail's own finance or sales staff to come in and have a look at their account. You can see along the left-hand side to start with, we've got all of your social media posts. So if I was to click on any of those, it would link me back to the social media. So you can always have callbacks to your other areas of websites from here. We have all our account details from Abbey Retail. So we're pulling all of this through Sage 200. So we can see any terms, currency, credit, and we've got quite a big credit limit of 10 million, it looks like, which is good for them. We can see where their invoices are at a very quick view. So how many are in terms, overdue, or in query. We've got the last 5 invoices and credit notes here. So we can see the status of those, what they are, what the document number is, due dates, etc., value. But what we've also got is a PDF download of each invoice or credit note. So if we've sent that through the Spindle software, it's been automatically archived in here. So if I wanted to have a look at this as an external or an internal user, I could just press the PDF, downloads the sales invoice, and here's my Abbey Retail sales invoice, which is quite handy, because hopefully if you get this installed, get this implemented, it cuts down on those phone calls to your finance team saying, can you send me a copy invoice, or to your sales guys, get them actually out selling rather than chasing up copy invoices, credit notes, all of that sort of business that get lost in the post. We can also see our order history for the company, so you can break it down by year. You see the last month to date, last 2 months, year to date. So this is really good as a salesperson. Take a quick look at what's Abbey Retail been doing this year compared to last year, and you can maybe use that for your meeting that you go in with. We've also got our last 5 orders here as well, so we can see what's been ordered by Abbey Retail and what the status is as well. So we can always check on these by just drilling into it, and it should open up the sales order page, and it shows me exactly what they bought. Are there any messages, and is there a delivery assigned to this one? So I'm just going to move back into the dashboard just to finish off. So yeah, that's everything you need from an account point of view. If you were an internal user, you may have access to multiple accounts. So we can bracket these off based on various conditions. So if you use analysis codes in Sage 200 and you segregate your data by, say, credit controller or finance manager might only look after A to B, and the rest of the team look after C to Z. So you can do that, so you only ever get access to what you need. External users will only be given access to the company that they need. So they won't be able to come into here and look at anyone else's data. But as an internal user, I can check out any of these at any point and drill into those to see exactly what they're doing at any one time. So moving along the line, if I drop into my invoices screen, you'll see here, it's exactly as it sounds. It's my invoice history along here, and I can see all my invoices, what their statuses are, how much they're for, and have they got a PDF next to them. And also now we've got a new button. So we've got this blue message button. So this means that there are messages from the customer. So they've still not received all the items. Can you help? And then the Draycir team have put some gobbledygook in here apparently. And then they've replied. So you can have like an online chat effectively with your customers in this point, and you get pinged a little notification to say, you know, someone's left you a message on an invoice. So you can deal with it here rather than having to deal with it on the phone. You don't want to. So we have that, and you can add messages to basically most parts of the software as well. So you can see we've got 3 messages in here, 2, 1, etc. We've also got statements, which is a nice little feature. So you can come in and download a customer statement at any one time, download that to PDF and see exactly what's going on with their statements. You can use all of this to filter, so you don't need to just always have all the data. We might just want to see what of my invoices are overdue and why is that. So I could come in here as a user, check out my overdue invoices, and then download them if I need the copy invoice, or leave a message for yourselves to hopefully deal with so we can get that invoice paid. Moving across again, we've got our order history. So we can see exactly what's been ordered, when, how much for, where it's been delivered to as well, and what the delivery status is on it. So we've got all this information that you might need as a user. We can use analysis codes to even break it down further. So we can hide this from external users, but internal users might want to know, the sales area or who the salesperson was for these orders. So you can come into here, you can drill into these, and it will show you the actual order, any documentation associated. So this one's got a sales return attached to it. It's also got a couple of messages. And then we can see if there was a delivery ever created for this one. So you can see how we're starting to build up a sort of customer picture of their whole account, what is going on at any one time with everything they're looking at with you, and what money they're spending with you, what money they owe you, where their documentation is at, all of that sort of business. Now this is a nice feature as well. Everyone likes it when you place an order when you get an order placed. If you could make that process a lot easier, a lot more streamlined, this is a great way of doing that. So while you're looking at your outstanding invoices, why not place an order as well? So you can come in here, you can have a total view of the stock list. You can see the stock level. Now, some companies don't like this. So what we've done is, rather than show the actual level in terms of like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead, what we can do is we can use traffic light system. So if there's 0 stock, we'll use a red light. If there's and then we break down that stock into how you want to display it. So maybe 10 to 20 is an amber light, and then anything above 20 is a green light. So you can go for it with your orders. So they can see that rather than the actual stock level, which is handy for some people. You can also add pictures as well. So I've got a few in here. You can see this one's an oven. We've got a better view of this further away, but you can come in here, just add this to your order, add the quantity, and move along. You might have seen there when I added a stock item, I could change this unit cost. Now that is because I'm an admin, so don't worry, your users aren't going to be able to come in here, find like a £5,000 item and then just change it to a tenner. We completely restrict that. That is just purely based on my access rights at this moment in time. So you can add a date required if you're a customer. I mean, again, most of these options are completely customizable. Some people allow that, some people don't want their customers demanding when they need it. It's all based on your process. We can also bring in orders from other ways as well. So we can still do your free text lines, your comment lines, but we've also got this option to do a bulk upload. So what that means is we give you a template for Excel, and it basically needs 2 columns filling out. I think it's the quantity and the stock code. So this bit here. All you need to do is fill that out, upload the document in, and it will populate the order. So sometimes when you get people sending in, some people still send in Excel spreadsheets as orders. So you can just literally copy and paste those onto the template and pop this into here. Just as a proof of concept, we have a customer who does this, and they're in sort of hazardous chemicals. So they only ever send stuff on Excel. And basically, when they send an order in on Excel, it usually has roughly between 4 400 and 1,000 lines at any one time. So rather than keying all of that in here, the user will come, do the bulk upload, and it roughly takes around 2 minutes to upload that whole document, 400 to 1,000 lines within the software. So, saves a lot of time rather than having to look through every stock item or type it in and add it each time. So yeah, once we've got an order in here, we can then start processing it. So we'd go to our delivery for it. And at this point, as a user, I could change where I want it to go. So if I had multiple addresses, I could do that. I could even put in a new address if you wanted it to be sent to site, say, rather than going to your office. You can have your date promised, any special instructions that you may want, and any charge codes. Moving further down, any further options, you might want to put a reference in, you might want to use analysis codes if you're an internal user. This won't show for external users because they won't know these things. And then finally, we confirm the order, very simply like this. And that now creates a sales order within Sage 200 that is a live sales order. So you can see here it's created 5705. If I was to open my Sage 200, we'd be able to see that and start following that sales order through its usual process. Going on to my next bit, this is one I really like. I actually prefer doing my orders from here, funnily enough. This is my stock screen. So this is a more detailed view of what's going on with my stock. And you can see here, if I tap into some of these, you should see, I've got any documents. You can see here, yeah, so we've got a better photo library here, nice to see. So as a backend user, you can make a whole catalog for a stock item, add them into here so the users can see exactly what they're buying. We've got all the descriptions. So something that can be really helpful for people is putting in the actual measurements, because sometimes, you miss those on a website. So if they're nice and big and displayed here, they can be done like that. We can put any comments on them as well for the users to see. If I wanted to order one of these from here, I do have the option. I could just press order, say, yep, I just want the one. That's now put, you can see we've got a little one here. That's now added a one to my order screen. So I'd still have to go through that place in an order screen, but to find the stock items I want, I could still go through this way, look at the free stock, base price, all of that sort of business, and just keep adding to my order. So hopefully we'll get a number 2 there now. Yeah, great. So that's the stock screen. Again, with stock, what we can do is we can have inclusions and exclusions of stock. So you might not want certain customers being able to see certain stock. We do have that quite a bit within our customer base. So we have a customer who sells lots of miscellaneous bits and bobs to companies all across the UK, but they only sell batteries to Amazon because Amazon buys so many, it's only worthwhile if they sell these batteries in Amazon quantities. So Amazon use self-serve, and they are the only people who can see those batteries within the stock list. So no one else can order those. So you can do it from an exclusion point of view like that, or you can do it from an inclusion and only give people access to the stock you want them to be able to buy. So we can really cater that stock requirement if you have that to various customers. So the last little couple of bits before we get onto the proof of delivery module is we've got a full document list for this user. So I can see literally every single document that's ever been stored against this user. I can filter it by document type, by format if I wanted to. I could change the user at this point and go into, say, Better Kitchens and see, what documents have we got for them. Okay, we've got all of these now, and we can see we've got hundreds of dispatch notes. We've got a lot of pages worth of documents. So as a user, you can come in and check whatever you need and use these references or filters to find the appropriate documents. The final bit I'll show you before we move across the proof of delivery module is this promotions tab. So if you do have a website or you do have some form of e-commerce already, what you can do with this is you can have these promotions pop up for specific users. You can do it by user, you can do it by company. And basically when they log into self-serve, it'll pop up with this: today only, enjoy 20% off, and we hyperlink it back to your website. So if they're coming in to check an invoice, they might get this 20% off. promotion pop up the minute they log in, so they can click it, go to your website and get that 20% off that you've promoted. So like I say, we can do that by person, we can do that by company, and you can create them ad hoc from here. Really simple to do, just add a nice little picture, add a hyperlink to where you want them to go with that promotion, and they can do that from here. So what we'll do now is we'll jump into proof of delivery. But before I do that, I'll just recap. So self-serve, internal, external users, you can manage your account from here. You can look at all documentation you need, and you can also place orders. So we're trying to cut down on the amount of time admin and finance spend on the phone or in email conversations with your customers, with your salespeople potentially, dragging up documentation from Sage 200 or order history from Sage 200. They can do it all from within the self-serve module. Okay, so moving on to proof of delivery. So it's worth noting that if you say just wanted self-serve and not proof of delivery, or the other way around, you just want proof of delivery and not the self-serve module, you can buy them like that. You can buy them together or you can buy them individually. They don't need each other to work. Just a quick one. So proof of delivery, what do we have here? Firstly, we have our Google Map integration here. So we use the traveling salesman integration within Google Maps. So you've got your routes here. We've then got all of our drivers. So these are all of our drivers that potentially could be on the road today. Anyone that's highlighted, we've got some routes against. We can see here all our unallocated dispatches. So this basically means that we've dispatched something in Sage 200 and now it's waiting to be added to a delivery route in here. So to speak on this bit a moment, what we can do is we can again search or filter by any criteria you want. So weight potentially is a big one. So we can make sure we're not over encompassing the vans. We can also filter by city, postcode, analysis code. We can do all of that to make sure you're always going in the same place. So if you just wanted to look at all of one customer's things, so you might just want to see everything from festival homes, we just type that in there, and now I've got every dispatch for festival homes. So what I can then do is I can start building up my route. So how do we do that? As a back-end user, so this is your admin user, maybe your operations director, they would come in here, they would decide, I want these 4 to be delivered in the next drop-off tomorrow. So I'm going to highlight them, I'm going to drag them over to SAM driver and drop them in. It's now created a route, and it will only be a one. It'll be from my home address or my office address to the festival homes. So you can see here, I've got 2, 3, and 4 that are all going to the same place. We've also got their weights. We can remove them. We can prioritize a drop, and we can also change the address at this point if we needed to. If I just remove the festival homes criteria, and now I've got some other companies, I'll just drag these onto SAM, and it'll start building up this route. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. When I'm happy with my route, what I can then do is I can optimize it. So it'll work out, am I going the best way for it? In this instance, no, I wasn't. So I should be going to festival homes first, then Tiger Build, then the Rose and Woodpack and King. So that's what Google Maps reckons is the most efficient way for me to get there. So if I just scroll down into my Google Maps, you can see that because I've got SAM chosen, it's taken me to the office where I'm based. So that'll be where that's where our office is. So all the devices are set to start their routes from there. But you can change that per device. So if people drive or have their vans at home, they can start from home and it will still calculate the routes correctly for them at that point. Okay, cool. So it's got all the routes. These are what's going on at the moment or what might be happening today. So what I can do with this when I'm happy as a back-end user is I can send it to my driver. So what date do I want this route to be driven? So I might say it's for today, or I might say it's for Friday. I'll say it's for today. I've then got the option to open a manifest. So I'll just do that just to show you. So The idea of proof of delivery is we try and move away from paper-based proof of delivery notes, dispatch notes, all that sort of business. But some drivers are old school and they will still want a paper manifest. So you can still do that if you need to. You can print it, send it to CSV, whatever you like, and it just has all the job information on it. So if I close that, that's now been sent to Sam. And if we look at Sam, so he's at home at the minute, we will see what that looks like from a driver's point of view in just a moment. I'm just going to go into my map now. And this is my live update on where all of my delivery drivers are at any one moment. So I can deselect or select however many drivers I want if I want to see them. I've got a key down here to watch each one means, and again I can deselect these at any given moment. Where they are in the world auto updates every 15 minutes, but if you have someone on the phone asking, you know, where are they, you can update this at will as often as you want to get a live view of where that person is. So if I scroll in a little bit, what you'll see is now it's picked up the GPS of where everyone is on their phone. So you'll see some of my colleagues are in the office, some aren't, some are at home, and I think I should be up here sort of just north of Derby and Nottingham. So yeah, that's where I am right now in my home office. So it picks up where you are on GPS. You can see what routes they're doing, where they are, what their drops are, all of that sort of business. So as a management tool, it's really helpful and effective to see where your drivers are at any 1 minute. So if I go into my driver app, and we'll see what this looks like from a driver's point of view. So if you just give me a second, I'm just going to swap out softwares and move this one across. So hopefully, if I just get rid of that, you should be able to see my proof of delivery app. So this is on just on my phone at home. I've got the POD app. So if I was to log into that as my Sam driver, it's going to refresh my job data. And hopefully, if I scroll to the bottom, there should be the route that I just created earlier on. So the Festival Homes, Tiger Bill, Rose, Woodpack, and King. I always use these ones because they're pretty memorable names, so you can't really get them wrong. So in this instance, this was required for today. It's my route 294. And as a driver, I will look at that and then I will decide which way I'm going. So the driver at this point doesn't have to actually, sorry, I just had a phone call. The driver at this point doesn't actually have to follow that route if they want to go a different way. You know, some drivers have better local knowledge than others, so they might know a better way around. But as a driver at this point, I would press on this first one. It would then give me the option, is this your next job? Okay, yeah, this is my next job. I am going to Festival Homes. So now that's set, the wheels in motion that say, I am going to Festival Homes, there's the delivery address. If I scroll through the app, you can see it's got a telephone, so we can call them from here, you know, if we're struggling to get to them. We can add any notes in as well, or sorry, if there are any notes on the order, we can see them there. We've got the dispatch notes, we've got the order number, and we've also got all the items relating to it. Finally, we have this last little bit, our proof of delivery section. So something we can do here is, as the driver, they get to their location, they've dropped off the goods. They then hand the phone across the door to the recipient, who then signs in to say, you know, I have received this on behalf of EBS. And I don't know if you can tell, but that was me just doing it with my finger and nothing too clever and complex there, just signing on the phone itself. Can then put who signed it. So Sam Steers signed this. Tick. Yeah, any comments you might want. You can also attach photos from here as well. So maybe everyone knows what it's like with DPD, Hermes. You know, we've all been buying stuff over lockdown. They turn up at the door, they wait a certain amount of time, and then they snap a picture of you holding your box like a proud father. You know, you can do that as well with this if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you can. Those photos will go back into Sage 200 as well if you want them to. So at this point, if we're happy with the order, we can press completed and it's refreshed my job list. So now I can move on to my next delivery and add it to the dispatch list. So if I come back into the proof of delivery module, what does that look like from a real world point of view in the back end? I've got this history tab, so this shows me what's going on. So you can see here, this is Sam driver. So all of these are for me, Tiger Build, Rose, Woodpack and King. So I've delivered this Festival Homes one here. The others are waiting. If we've got multiple ones, you know, we could click through those, that's fine. And it just shows us where that driver is and what they're doing. So at this point, I've got my dispatch note, and the proof of delivery is being synced currently to come across with the order. So if I look through some of the other ones, actually, you'll see here we've got this one that was delivered by Zoe, and the proof of delivery is synced across. So if we open that up, I bring this up, we can see here what we have is the proof of delivery is downloaded, which I'll show you in just 2 moments. We can print out the manifest again if we wanted to, but it's this status here that I'm more bothered about. So you can see this is when we sent it to Zoe. This is when Zoe's downloaded it on her app. So this is when she's opened the app up. She's then decided that this is my next delivery, which you saw me do. And the first thing you get when you decide that this is your next delivery is this little icon here, which is a geotag. So if I click on that, I can see exactly where Zoe was when she said that this is my next delivery. So she was here when she said it. She's then delivered it, and we've got a proof of delivery, and we've got another geotag. So it geotags when you've said it's delivered. Funnily enough, Zoe's done it from our house, so it's the same one. But you know, as a driver, it'd probably be at the last stop is where you start it, and then the second geotag will be at the location. We've then got the proof of delivery, and if we had any photos, there would be loads of photos. You can put as many photos as you want in here of the products. So you've got this nice signature, and Henry, I believe, is Zoe's dog, who signed for that very cleverly. So you can see all of this in here. What do you get back into Sage 200? You effectively get this document stored against the sales order forever. So this will be able to view in the sales order whenever you want. So you've got what was delivered, you can see how it's been signed for, any comments and any photos will be picked up as well. So where we use this with our Spindle distribution module is when we then send out the sales invoice, what we will do, what companies will often do who use proof of delivery is they will attach this PDF to that invoice email as it gets sent out. So you can do that quite happily. We also have some other things. So you notice that I could complete the delivery, or I could decline it or say it wasn't delivered. So we have that option here as well. So you can see on Zoe's, we've got it couldn't be delivered. And then we've got now the option to reschedule it or cancel the order. And we've also got a failure reason. So we can see the premises was closed. Now you get to decide what these failure reasons are. So you can make them as relevant to your company as possible. You can also then do a bit of auditing if you want to. So if you've got a driver who said, you know, the premises was closed, but the timestamp says 2:23, you know, if that premises doesn't close until 5, you know, there's probably something a bit fishy. And you look at the geotag and they're absolutely nowhere near where they should have been. You can see here, I've got a little photo on this one, Zoe's doorway. You know, something might be a bit fishy with that delivery driver. So you've got that option as well. So you've got all these different could not delivers. You've also got the option to call it a cancelled delivery as well. So they might call up and cancel on the day. These are awaiting downloads. These are deliveries that have been sent to the driver, but the driver has not yet opened up the app to accept the orders yet. So we've got various ways of monitoring what we're doing. And you can see now that my proof of delivery has filtered through as if by magic. So let's see if it's got that EBS signature. Yeah, so we've got the EBS signature. And if I'd put photos on, it would have done. So you can see who it was delivered by, delivery number, order number, all of that sort of business, and what was delivered itself. Cool. So the final bit, proof of delivery, is the performance bit, which I really like. So what we can do is, if we look this year at all the deliveries that have been made by our team, we can see exactly how we've done. We can do it by van or by person. We can see what each person's been doing from a delivered, undelivered and cancelled. So someone's probably going to have a word with Alicia Mansfield over here, because she's undelivered 47 orders, which probably isn't great. You can maybe want to look into that at some point. So you can group by driver, account, warehouse. So, you know, there might be a specific account that you can never get to, who are always, so these guys are always cancelling, it looks like, A56 plumbing. So, you know, it can then trigger something in an account manager or in the finance team or operations team to then have a chat with them, find out what's going on, and, you know, hopefully improve and streamline those processes to make sure you do get that delivery over the line when you need to. So yeah, it's a nice little handy feature we've got in there for you to monitor how the drivers are doing. You've got these little charts as well to see what's going on at any one time for you. Perfect. So yeah, that's proof of delivery in a nutshell. There are a lot of features coming out on proof of delivery as we speak. We do have a very, very basic integration into DPD. So if you do use a courier at the minute, we can integrate to the courier for the users to track where that parcel is. We are working on improving that and doing it for more couriers and allowing you to print the labels on there for the couriers as well. That is something we are looking at doing at some point in the near future. But this product is being heavily developed all the time, which is really good news for anyone who takes it on at this moment. So I'll leave it there, and I'll hand back over to Richard. And if anyone has any questions, please do let me know.
Yeah, I was going to say, any questions, pop them in the chat, and I can direct them to Sam. I won't try and answer them. I've got a couple of questions, if that's all right, just while we're waiting. So one of the questions I've got is, can it handle serial and batch traceability, or if it can, how does that sort of work?
Yes, so it can definitely handle batch and serial traceability. You will be able to see that within the stock screen, what the batch is or what the serial number is. So you can, you'll know what batch you've ordered a certain item from, which is quite handy.
Brilliant stuff. And the other thing as well, obviously you've talked a lot about building up a delivery route sort of based on dispatches and dispatching the goods. Is it possible to do it a stage earlier and do that on sales orders?
It is definitely. We, in the latest version of the software, which is due out within the next week, one of the key things we put in there for a specific customer was that they needed to add sales orders to a delivery route before they actually dispatch them in Sage 200. So you can now do that. And with that as well, we've given you the functionality to be able to build up a week's worth or 2 weeks worth of delivery routes, because their drivers were going from Brighton to Scotland and then working their way back down. So they do 5 days worth of drops before coming home. So we can now build up those long routes as well, days worth of routes in advance for the drivers.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I know a few people that would find that useful, so that's particularly good. Not had any questions yet in the chat. Obviously, if you think of anything after watching this session, then feel free to drop myself or Darren a message or email or call at EBS, and we'll do our best to answer or direct them to Sam. But otherwise, I just want to say thanks ever so much for taking the time out of your day today to have a look at the session. I hope it was useful, and hope to talk to you soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone.